Forged in the crucible of strife, two realms intertwine. Amidst the clash of Cymric and Saxon, a new power arises. A scion of ancient bloodlines, wielding destiny's blade. From the ashes of betrayal, a true heir emerges, resolute and cunning. Where honor meets conquest, Britannia's fate hangs in the balance. Embrace the legacy of a destined ruler. The Saxon Miniseries.
Hasten, O sea steed, over the swan-rod foaming egg ship, o'er the froth of the sea. For Hengist has called us from Gothland and Frisia to Vortigern's country, his army to be. We'll take our pay there and sweeter than silver. We'll take our plunder and richer than gold. For Hengist has promised us land for our fighting, land that the sons of the Saxons shall hold. Hasten, O fierdsmen, down to the river. Dragon ships come o'er the inflowing tide. The lindenwood shield and the old spear of ashwood are needed again by the cold water side. Oh, draw up the shield wall and shoulder companions. Later, whenever our story is told, they'll say that we died guarding what we call dearest, land that the sons of the Saxons shall hold. Hasten, O housecarls, north to the Danelaw. Harold Hardrada comes over the sea. He's laden his longships with bear sarks from Norway to gain Connacht's crown and our master to be. Bitter he'll find there the bite of our spear points. Hard-ruling Northmen too strong to die hold. We'll grant him 6 feet plus as much as he's taller, of land that the sons of the Saxons do hold. Make haste, son of Godwin, southward from Stamford. Triumph is sweet and your men have fought hard. But William the Bastard has landed at Pevensey, burning the land you have promised to guard. Draw up the spears on the hilltops of Hastings. Fight till the sun drops and evening grows cold. And die with the last of your Saxons around you, holding the land you were given to hold. Hasten, O sea steed, over the swan-rod foaming egg ship, o'er the froth of the sea. For Hengist has called us from Gothland and Frisia to Vortigern's country, his army to be. We'll take our pay there and sweeter than silver. We'll take our plunder and richer than gold. For Hengist has promised us land for our fighting, land that the sons of the Saxons shall hold. Hasten all fierdsmen down to the river. Dragon ships come o'er the inflowing tide. The lindenwood shield and the old spear of ashwood are needed again by the cold water side. Oh, draw up the shield wall and shoulder companions. Later, whenever our story is told, they'll say that we died guarding what we call dearest, land that the sons of the Saxons shall hold.
All right, we're live. My transition.
We've done it?
Dang it. Dang.
We've done it.
We did it.
We've done it.
We did it. We're here. All right. Welcome to first episode of the Saxon Miniseries, a Pendragon Chronicle. Just going to check the audio. Normally we have some major disaster, but not so far. So far, so good.
So far, so
Yeah, yeah.
good.
Had a brief camera outage, but we're back. Nothing to worry about here. Something slightly to worry about, actually. Give me a sec.
do 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 da 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 da.
I'm gonna cut the cameras over here because it's gonna keep happening otherwise. There we go.
All right.
Oh yeah. I didn't see it right away, but Mark was dancing with me. I'm happy for that. Yeah.
All right, guys. Now we're gonna we kind of finished our session 0 in a almost done place, I would say, but not really like, what's the word, ideal place. Like I think we got some room to continue to look at that stuff. So let me just pull up. I'm gonna pull up some music here. In the meantime, why don't we kind of talk about our characters a little bit? We'll start with you, Gary, as we do our introductions.
Sure. What would you like to know?
Just give us a general introduction about you, and then whatever you want to share about your character, including
What's your favorite color?
All right.
What's your favorite color?
My name is Gary. I've been role-playing for most of my life. I do not stream that often or play on stream games that often, but occasionally I do, and I'm happy to join in on this one. The character I'm going to be playing is a Volter. He is a Jutish second son of Thane, who didn't really want to be a warrior, expected his eldest brother to take on that mantle, but he's kind of been thrust into being a fighter. He's much more at home amongst the animals, the hounds and the birds that he had trained for his father and for the local other lords and stuff. I guess would be the thing. He's kind of slow to speak, a large hulking figure, doesn't fit in well with others, and he is kin to the two other characters we're soon going to learn about.
Indeed. Okay, we'll go to Liam next.
Hey everybody, I am Liam. I am playing Grimmer. He's a Saxon. Shocking. I'm of course on this show in other stuff. I play Sir Perrin of Durnford, and I used to play Sir Dallin of Durnford on this show. I'm really excited to see some of the Saxon stuff here. Don't have too much of really defined, other than some backstory stuff. I usually like to feel out my character through play. But I am the younger brother of Mark's character, and I'm super excited to see the other side of a force we've been fighting in the game for a pretty long time. And his favorite color is brown.
Fair. We'll go to Mark next. I will warn you before you try, Mark, that you are getting a little bit. I can hear you doing the thingy
Good.
with your mic.
Starting to To die? Yeah. Hello, I am Mark, aka the Captain Man, and today I will
It's-
be playing. Can you hear me now? How is
Oh.
it?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
How is it
Go.
now?
A little bit better.
I'm just getting a little too loud for it.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you
Alright.
might need to cut your mic over. I don't think we're going to be able to work with
Okay.
this. Yeah.
Hold on then.
We're gonna need get your character names for you guys going here while we wait. Just for the screen. If you can type me the character names.
Testing.
Roll20.
Testing.
Oh. Worse quality, but I can hear you, which is different than the other one. So
Yeah,
worth
and,
it.
And I think we're gonna have to
Okay.
work with that. Yeah.
I probably have to place my microphone. Alright. Hold on, I might be able to fix it by doing this.
Do. We don't even have a Thomas to do technical difficulty dances.
It's true. That's why it's happening. It's all Thomas's not me.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah, like it's clear now at least, Mark. It's just not good quality. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like,
I.
oh, what did you do?
Oh,
How is it now?
no, it's still crackling.
No.
Yeah, it'll have to be the worst quality one tonight.
Yeah.
In case. Hello, I am Mark, aka.
Can you?
No.
Yeah. Can you cut over to the other mic?
Hold on.
Sorry, Mark.
That's not gonna work.
Okay.
Do.
How is this?
Better.
It's back to where
Much
we wanted
louder.
to. Where
Yeah.
it is a tolerable level of what we expect. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna turn
Try
it
other
down
ones.
just a touch.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot louder.
It's all right. It's
Okay.
legible. We can hear you. Audible. There, that's the one.
Hello, I'm Mark, aka the Cat's Meow for the third time. I will be playing Aethelgar, the first son of his father. However, he was removed from succession due to his own path being decided when it was discovered that he had the sight and a potential for magic. For this reason, he was trained in the way of the Godri, or Gothri. Godri? Shabab will correct me. And learn the ways of Wotanism and his worship of the head of the pantheon, Wotan. For this reason, he has a connection to the dead, to the gone, and to the spells and sorceries that define this world. And of course, and most importantly, the wild, or weird, as it's sometimes called.
Weird.
And yeah,
Perfect.
he is also a Jute, like his brother and cousin.
That's fair.
And that's him.
That's him.
Okay, so why don't we take a closer look at some of this here? We're gonna cut over to the BAM so that we can take a look at what we're doing and what we're playing with. I've got some new ideas I want to pitch at you guys too. Just keeping this.
I like
fast
new
and
ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, I love new ideas.
All right. So, taking a look at this, we have the Utes up here, right? Doesn't quite show on the Roll20 map. It's too bad. One sec.
I see Utes.
Yeah, you guys are good. There we go. We have the Utes up there. We have the Angles just beneath them, and the Saxons and the Frisians. Those groups clustered together are known as, in a broad term in this game's perspective, all 4 of those groups together are the Saxons, right? As far as the peoples are concerned. The Franks aren't really included in that. They're a very similar culture at this stage. They're Germanic. So they share a lot of the Germanic customs, I would say, and they have not yet Christian, what's the word? Converted to Christianity. Yeah. So that isn't a thing yet either. Because all 3 of you were involved with Syagrius, the Franks were who the Western Roman Empire was fighting, right? And losing to, basically.
Clovidecius, or I believe it's, or Clovis.
It sounds right. So you are all, in fact, still of the Wotan or Wotanic.
Tanic.
Yeah, I think they changed that to Wotanish in the or Wotanish in the 6th edition, which I like the sound of better because it doesn't sound like satanic. But that's me.
Where do you think the word comes from?
Yeah. Yeah. The Christians, what? It's not. Yeah. I guess the long short of it is, we originally talked about you being like heirs of Cerdic or Cerdic right away, like at least through the grapevine, like through the chain of command. I thought it'd be more fun if you weren't right away. If instead
Sure,
we
man.
focus this early portion of the game, what if we were to focus this early portion of the game on the 3 of you, your surroundings in you? I'm thinking like a coastal town in you. In the Yiddish land. And we zero in a little bit on this bastard of a guy, well, maybe a bastard, the guy that some of you don't like that you report to. So let's talk about him. I believe Gary and Liam, you both had some background points about this guy, did you not? Some strong feelings?
Correct. I can lead with mine if you like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Few years ago, I'm not sure exactly how long, this fella was leading a party of several of my family members, and my family believed him to be kind of a glory seeker, and a lot of them were killed in that. An unfair glory seeker, one who was dishonorable about it. And a lot of my family ended up getting killed in that, and despite the fact that we are still under his command, Grim has held a pretty strong grudge ever since.
Any thoughts or opinions from Gary on that?
The only thing I have noted down was that that same battle, that same conflict, was the one that my eldest brother died during as well. So
I thought maybe you'd felt it was a wasted battle too, or
yeah,
no? Yeah.
I think so. Like, I think my character isn't as understanding of the politics as perhaps Grimmer is, but he does like harbor suspicions, and
there's a discomfort with what happened that day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's fair. So here's my pitch. We talked about what that war might be like. We talked about it maybe being, I like it being potentially one of 2 things. If you want something a little further back, 15 years ago. If it was 15 years ago, what would have made sense is this guy followed Patient, or Patient as we've called him, in his conquest back, and then lost quite brutally, and the remnants return back here. The alternative would be, and I think this would make sense because the Utes are so close to the Angles. You join some of the Angles in their reinforcement of Dira and Nohat when they invaded from Malahut. That would have been the Battle of Lindsay, the one where the one time Gorlo and Uther fought together. Well,
I remember it well.
yeah. So you could have been, or not you, but like your respective people could have joined the Angles there, which were kind of squashed, and then some of them returned back to the mainland after. And I'll leave that, let's do some open discussion on that one, because I think that's an important point.
I like the second one. It seems fresher.
Yeah, as much as I'd love to have my past character's family potentially killed by the prologue PCs, I do like that idea as well. I think the recent wound is probably the more effective for telling this story.
Yeah, because that's the biggest, most recent war, right? Was that stuff. So I like that too. So when they were beaten back the first time, and Octa and Eosa were captured, so it seemed like an end. Some of the Saxons returned back overseas, back to the mainland.
And how long ago was that conflict?
490 or 489, so about 5 or 6 years ago.
So, do you think any of our characters were also in that battle?
I was
where
actually.
our siblings died.
That's exactly what I was going to go to next, Gary. So you're right on point. So, so 6 years ago, what would your guys' ages have been?
20. That's
21.
That's an easy one for me.
Yeah.
21, yeah.
And Mark?
Definitely fighting age.
23.
So all
He's not a warrior.
all of you were fighting age. I mean, technically 21 is the knightly age. I'm not sure if that's the case for Saxons. I'd like to suggest that, they probably have the equivalent of squires. I think we discussed that when we made our characters. So, I'll leave it up to you guys. Did you want your characters to be at the Battle of Lindsay?
Me, for sure. Yes, absolutely.
I think it would... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, Mark.
I think it'd be interesting if Aethelgar wasn't actually involved in that conflict. He was uniquely divorced from the situation due to his position.
Okay, makes sense.
I think Volter was there, but he was kept in reserve, and he might be a little frustrated about that fact.
Okay, yeah, you rolled the garrison duty.
Well, I think because he's particularly good with horses and stuff, so he was keeping everything they brought with them, and he was with the ships and stuff,
Yeah,
the reserves. Yeah,
I made that joke because in the books there's when you're rolling up your character's glory as you do if you do the random generation.
Yep.
It's the most common thing you'll hit is ''garrison duty saw little or no glory."
Oh, don't I know it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think he was in the reserves in garrison duty. I think he was with the ships, with the animals, with whatever they brought over that didn't get used in the battle.
I'm just gonna look up the year. It's either 490 or 489.
I think it was 490.
Yeah.
I think so. I could be wrong about that, but that sounds right to me.
No, you are right. All right. So the other good news is we can go to 490 and do some glory the other way. I think. Let's see. Because those who fought, you might have a little bit of extra glory, which is just Liam in this case.
Yeah. I'm the vet. I'm a 10-year vet.
I might have killed some stragglers. Reserves.
I was swinging my axe when I was 16, brother. I know what's up.
Yeah.
Oh, did you actually sail over then, Gary? When you say reserves, you were actually over in Britain at the time? You just were kept, like, guarding...
Yeah, I think
Guarding
guarding the ships, basically.
Okay.
Guarding the retreat. Or
What-
supplies, or whatever you might call it.
Mm-hmm.
What am I rolling for the extra glory here?
I'm just taking a quick look here.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah. Modifiers... Usually tells you.
Grim.
Source is going to lose. Glory section is so much better in the other book. In Book of Uther, like the 480 to 484, the glory is really
It's
good.
real. It's real like specific in there too.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna assume you fought out the full thing, which was 8 rounds. What's that?
No, that was a affirmative. That was an
Okay.
affirmative.
Okay.
Yeah, getting into character.
All right. So you're not gonna have to roll. It's gonna be a number. 80. So it's
I
40,
love numbers.
Yeah, 45 per round, times 0.5. So 22.5 times 8. 180 glory.
180. Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
0.5 because you lost.
Yeah.
Okay. So that answers that question. Now let's give this this guy a name. Who wants to roll a d10?
You want to take it? Do you want to take it, Mark?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
D10. 8.
Hear a laugh.
Oh. That translates out to stinky, of course. Smelly. Her laugh.
Hear a laugh.
Her laugh.
Harlaf is the name of your. What did we call? What is he? What did we give him for a title?
I think he's
Oh.
a Thane as well, right?
Yeah, he's whatever the. If there's a rank that's right above us, it would be that. But I think he's just a Thane.
Okay. Perfect. And then we're just gonna do a tiny bit of family stuff together, so we kind of know this. We can do a quick refresher on who the family is, right? So we have, because otherwise we're gonna pay for trying to do this as we go.
Yeah.
So we got Grimmer. Here we got Ethelgar. Copy and paste these names to make my life easier. And your Grimmer has a different set of parents than Ethelgar and Voltor, right?
No,
Um,
other way around.
No.
Volter has a different parent than Grimmer and
Ethelgar.
Aethelgar.
So add brother Ethelgar. And then which one's older? Who's what again? So
Their father is 3 years older than my father, and they were brothers.
Yes, and Ethelgar is the older of the two of us, but I've set to inherit because he's a weird magic guy.
right.
And you had a second brother too, a brother
Who-
who was born ahead of you as well.
He
who
Right.
died, right?
He was
Yeah.
killed. He was killed in
In that battle.
yeah, Lindsay, right?
Yeah. I'm getting that all down on Family Echo, which will save us some time in the future. So we got Volter. We should name the fathers. I think that's important. What do we got for a name for Mark and Liam? Yo, Dad.
I think something that's similar to Aethelgar, right? Something that's kind of a
There's a ton
kind
of
of a
Aethel names.
yeah.
Aethelred, Aethel.
Aethelred works for me. I like Aethelred.
Mark, do you have an opinion?
I agree. Aethelred.
Aethelred.
I'm just trying to check if we
Tor-
decided
Thorfinn.
how many grandfathers we were away, but I wasn't sure if we already chose names or not.
Yeah. Grimmer, Aethelgar, Aethelred. Then we got Volter. And do we have a name for Volter's father?
I think his father was. Would Winston work? I think that's an old Saxon name.
How would you spell that?
Winston.
Like-
Wynstan.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm like,
Or we can go with
I'm
Godrin.
fine with it that way. As long as it's spelled in a old manner. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like Winston.
Grimmer, what year were you born? If the year is 495 now, what year were you born?
It would be 26 years ago. So, if I map that out, 495 minus 26, that would have been 469. Hey, that's the joke number.
Yeah. Aethelgar, what year were you born?
We'll make him 466. Because he's 29.
Mark is older, okay. And then Volter.
I'm 1 year older than Liam's character, than Grimmer, so whatever year that was.
68.
470. Or 68, yeah.
68.
The other way.
468.
Yeah.
468.
That always fucks me up too.
And then just looking at... Oh no. I did that wrong. Hold on one sec. Winston. There we go. We got the mother of Volter. We got Winston. We got Volter. Mother of Grimmer. Aethelred. Aethelgar and Grimmer. And I'm gonna name the mothers too. I think that'll be important. Grimmer and Aethelgar, you have a fallen brother, right?
We do, in fact.
Okay. Let's talk about who this is. And how old he was. Because there are a couple of years between Aethelgar and Grimmer. So was he the eldest, or was he the second eldest?
He was the second eldest, I believe. So he was
Yes.
28.
He was a year in between us.
Okay. Give me a D10 roll, somebody, for his name.
I gotcha. That's a 3.
John.
Hunbiel.
Hunfield.
His name is Arthur. That's weird. Why is his name Arthur?
469. You said he was how many years older than Grimmer?
Just
years.
1, I think. 2 year? 2 years.
471.
Yep.
Or 4. Sorry, 4. I did it again.
467.
Okay, good. Anyone else of important? No, I think Volter had brothers, and that was important because of the ship. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, correct. I share a ship inheritance with several of my brothers.
Okay.
With my third eldest brother, my fourth eldest brother. Yeah, I share it with 2 brothers, I think.
Because
Yeah,
the rest are dead.
How many? What son number are you right now?
I am son. So I have 4. I had 4 brothers.
Yeah.
One was older than me. He died, and the 2 younger than me are alive, and the youngest also died. But I'm assuming that the youngest died of disease or childbirth or something like that.
Child
We-
with a knife. Yeah. Child with an axe. These things happen.
Okay, so you had a brother who was older than you that died, and presumably in
Yep.
battle. Then you had.
I've named that brother. That was Winred.
Oh, you got their names. Okay.
Yeah. I've got his name. I haven't gotten all of them yet.
Can you spell me that?
Yes. Wynred.
And he died.
And then
Uh,
he died during that battle, Lindsay, right?
yeah. 490. So Windrin died in 490. So did Hunbield. I'm seeing a story coming together here. Okay, let's keep going with this because we're pretty close. Do we need? So we got Winred, Voltaire, and then 2 brothers. Yes.
Yeah, I have one of them named. I haven't named the other yet.
Okay. Which
the
do you
one-
in the living or the dead one?
I named the eldest and the third eldest so far. So the third eldest, who is alive and married, and has a share in that boat, is Wilmare.
Okay. Spelling.
Wilm. Then it's like that AE combination,
Yeah.
and then an R.
Gotcha. And so he's younger than Voltaire.
Yeah, and I'm looking for a name for the fourth.
Maybe like
fourth eldest.
470. Sound right? For his age.
Yeah.
Couple years younger than you. And then the
Yeah.
fourth eldest is dead as well, right?
No, the fourth eldest is also alive.
Oh, I thought you had 2 dead.
I do. I had 4 brothers though.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So the second, third, and fourth born sons of my father are alive. The firstborn and the fifth and the
The
firstborn and the
extremes.
fifthborn are dead.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the extremes are dead.
Okay.
And all my sisters, I think, are alive as well. I have 2 sisters.
Okay.
But sisters.
Now we're gonna do something with them because the Saxons care a little more about that stuff. They're not bound by the.
Yeah. Interestingly, my eldest sister is actually the eldest child, and she's actually unmarried, but the younger sister's married. So, like, who knows? She might have like the witchy side too. I don't know.
Right. So you've got a sister, and where's she fall in the line? Who would she be between?
So I have 2 sisters.
Yeah.
I have 2 sisters. One is the eldest of all my father's
Of all
children.
the children. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll give her 464. We'll say. And then give me a
Maybe
D10, Gary.
A D10.
Yeah.
Sure.
Seven.
7. Mildred.
She's unmarried but alive.
Right. And then you have another sister. Where does she fall in the grand scheme of?
She is younger than the 4th eldest brother. So she's the youngest living child at the moment. But she is actually married, so she's got to be at least, 14 or something like that this time period?
Yeah, we'll figure this out. Hold on. This is where it gets a little funky. Yeah. This is why I wanted to figure some of this out.
Yep.
So 470, we can say that, back-to-back kids there, and then her 473 would make her like 21 or something, right? 473 to 495, 21.
Yeah.
There we go. And then your youngest brother, will this make him? If he was living, he would be like a teenager.
Yeah. But
Give me a-
I imagine he probably died when he was like still a child, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you want to roll for those last three names, or would you like to come up?
Sure,
with them?
I'll roll for the last three.
Okay, let's start with your eldest brother, not named yet.
Okay. A 7 as well.
7. Okay. Hathweald.
How is that spelled?
Hathweald.
HATHWA
Weald.
UEALD. Okay, half wheeled. Okay.
All right. Okay, and then your sister. Give me a D10.
3.
Nope. Hold on.
Well, I was looking at I just saw one that I kind of liked.
Sure.
Where did it go? It vanished on me. Never mind.
Bjorn
I had it
Thrith.
for a second. Yeah,
Beornthryth.
Bayorn Thrift.
Thryth after Beorn. Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
And that leaves us. She's got a husband. I'll just make a note of that. Add partner.
Yeah, actually, my two brothers also are married, and well, no.
Your two living brothers.
My two living brothers are married. They are both married. Whittlemare and Hathweald are both alive and married, and have a share in that big old longship.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm adding this stuff, because it might add some drama
Yeah.
at some point. All right, and we won't worry about naming their.
Their
that's
wives
not direct
until it's
blood.
relevant. Yeah.
So the last thing is, let's see what your fallen brother's name is. Another D10, and then we're done with your
Right.
respective family.
Can I just name him Pega?
Yeah, how do you?
I'll grab it and throw it in the chat.
Which chat?
In the roll 20,
Okay, okay,
just because that's where everything is.
perfect.
Pega.
Gotcha. All right, he is in there, and then I'm just gonna name your mom for you here, unless you really care.
No.
I can't do it. I got Ricola. I'm like, nope.
Oh, I think I just closed my Saxon name list though.
No, it's okay. Alfwin.
Alfwin. Okay.
It's AELFW. Okay.
Yeah.
And that brings us to an end of your immediate family. Now we're gonna go back over to Mark and Liam. Mark and Liam, we've got you two. We've got your dad. Give me a D10 roll, one of you, for your mother's name, unless you got a strong preference.
I do not. Do you, Mark?
Nope.
All right, I will roll that shit. What's a 9 give us?
9. Whitbur.
Whitwer?
Whitbur.
Whitbur. Whitbur. Whitbur.
Oh no, I just changed, crap. I just changed Gary's one.
I have it written down as well. Don't worry.
Is Bjorn
Well, my-
Is that what They did?
Yeah, it was Bjorn Thrift. Yeah. That's not my mother's name. That was my second eldest. That was my sister.
What was your mother's name again?
My mother's name is Ethelwyn. Elfwyn.
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 Yeah.
Elfwyn. Yeah.
There we go. That's fixed. Okay, so to continue with, just real quick with Mark and Liam before we dive into some actual roleplay. What about your other siblings? Do you got any?
No specific thoughts about them, really.
Do we have other siblings, though, for you guys?
Oh, I thought we did.
What son number are you both?
I'm
1.
son number 3.
Okay.
Mark's 1.
Son number 2 is dead.
Yeah, and I think we had more as well, but I don't remember for certain.
Okay, we'll just keep them out of the story then. Like unless we have specifics, I can go back.
Yeah, I'll go back and listen to the session 0, and I'll make sure to make a note of it, write it down somewhere.
Yeah, safe to say they're just not living in the lands you are. If they're married, they might be off in their own lands or such. So.
Yep.
Just for my own clarification, both of our fathers are dead as well, right? Because I remember rolling and I think your father, Mark and Liam's father, had no burial, and mine had average burial.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Did they die? Did either of them die in Lindsay?
I think it makes sense that they died in Lindsay, right? I don't know. What do you think?
I think that would track.
Okay.
I mean, if
Go for it.
Hirlath was there, my guess is that they were probably there, and who knows? Maybe he sent them in the vanguard, and that's possibly why they got slaughtered. And he's still around.
Would certainly make sense, sire.
It does make sense. All right,
Yeah.
that is a great starting point, folks. So let us dive in and see a little bit more about what these characters are. Just for the purposes of the stream, if you could all kindly open up your sheet and tell me anything you have that's famous. We'll start with Gary. Gary, anything that's 16 or above on your
In
sheet.
my personality traits, or my skills, or both.
Or your stats, yeah, anything that's 16
All right.
or above.
All right. Volter is famous for being generous, for being merciful,
Okay.
for being proud,
Okay.
worldly, and indulgent. One might say he even has the traits that Woden and the rest of the Teutonic Pantheon want us to have.
Okay.
Additionally,
Yeah.
he is famed for his falconry, famed for his hunting, and I guess that includes dogs and stuff. And he is famed for horsemanship and for his skill with the spear. Do I say attributes too, or no? Those are different.
Yep.
He is famed for being large and strong and hardy.
Attaboy. As a real Saxon.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a famous traits for Voltor. Now we'll go to Liam next.
Yo. Alright, so my traits that are famous. I am famously lazy. I got a 16 in lazy.
Okay.
Famously generous with a 16 in generous. Nearly famously proud.
Nearly or?
Nearly. Not quite there yet. And then
like
I'm
I'm
also... I have a strength of 21, so very well regarded for my strength. Size of 16 and a con of 18, so both of those are notable as well.
Okay.
Famously aware of his surroundings.
Okay.
And then also extremely well regarded for his skill with a sword and a spear with an 18 and a 22.
Okay. Is that all?
That's it.
Okay, and you're Grimmer, right? Am I getting the names
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grimma.
Right. Grimmer. Mark, let's go to you next.
Aethelgar is famed for his spirituality at 16.
Okay.
He is famed for his love of Wotan at 24.
Wow.
Wotan.
And he is famed for his gift of sight at 16, or talent sight, if you will.
Yep.
And he is famed for his talent over necromancy, and also at 16.
Okay. Anything else in traits or anything, or is that?
That is it.
Okay.
That's all that he's famous at.
Yeah.
The rest is 15 or below.
Yep. Understood. Okay. So we're gonna start. I think. Let's go to a chart just to set this off in an interesting way. We're gonna consult some oracle tables from Ironsworn. One sec. Pulling up the play aids. Okay, so we're gonna do. Something on the coastal. One sec. All right. I need 2 D100s from somebody. Set the initial.
Do you want to take it, Mark or Gary?
I'll do it.
Hell
Go ahead,
yeah.
Mark.
21, 67.
And I'll take one more D100.
All right. 43.
Okay. I think when we start off this session, we're gonna kind of do it in the thick of things. I think this is a matter of your homeland, like your nearby lands, have been raided, and you've come to the aid of your allies, your kin, basically. You are fighting in a pass. This fight is with angles, some of the angles from just south of your border. Think of this as like Salisbury and Silchester. Like this is not a full-blown war, but it's plundering from each other, trying to one-up each other. You're currently in a situation where you're fighting to hold this pass. You need to leave. Some of your men are falling, and we're gonna set it right in the thick of this. I kind of want to know like what Mark's role would be in this. I figure this is one of those things where it had to be all hands on deck. So even though he's not a militant figure himself, like it's like he's still kin, right? Does that make sense? And then we'll say that this is well, it's got to be someone on Gary's side. So we'll say this is your brother Hathwield. His lands are being pillaged right now. Why don't we give you? I'm gonna give you guys a test based on what you're doing. If you're leading men, like, because think of this as small blown skirmish.
Skirmish.
Battle will be what you're doing. If you're just in there cutting people up, your weapon score of your choice you're going to test against. And then for Mark, if there's something else or something else either of you would want to do that's not related to those two things, you can let me know.
Could Aethelgar be focused on trying to get those that are injured out of the fighting?
Yes. I think in that sense, I think first aid would be the most appropriate. I would be willing to support like an awareness or a battle test instead.
No, I'm good with first aid.
Okay. Why don't you all just give me a test then?
Ooh.
Success on first aid.
And this is first aid for us all?
Nope.
Or no, we get to choose.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. All right. Here we go.
Yeah, I think I'm probably doing the spear as well.
Okay, that's prominent. So we're even gonna say that for Mark, he manages to pull an injured half-wheel out of the fray. So Gary, your brother's not completely
his cousin. Yep.
Yeah, he's maimed. Not maimed. He's cut down, is what I meant to say. And then Mark manages to pull him free out of the trouble and readies him for the retreat. You're also able to apply the first aid to that. Grimmer, you end up. What do you fight with? Spear, obviously. You rolled spear.
Yeah. He's got kind of an unorthodox combo. He's got a Saxon sword by his side, but he mostly wields a spear.
Okay.
So he's got that, and he's kind of bracing for defense as we're trying to get people to retreat. He's kind of covering a little bit, but he's definitely trying to stay close to his family members that he can recognize. So,
okay. You managed to cut one of the berserkers that was forcing their way into this. You managed to cut him down with the aid of a couple of the men, but you deliver the final blow through his neck, and you see him drop in a pile of blood, but not before taking down one of the men beside you. He's those berserkers are crazy. And then we'll go to Volter next. So for Volter, I think you end up in a bit of a one-on-one with the guy that cut down your brother, and you end up paying him back in kind, killing him. But this pass is lost. You're gonna have to retreat.
Who is giving the order for retreating?
That is a good question. Who do you think is at the head of this skirmish army? Like, who rallied this posse to defend these lands in the first place for your kind?
would it have been the guy that we don't like?
It could have been your Thane. He'd have less investment, like in this, which would make a lot of sense, right? These aren't.
It could have been
Kinsland.
It could have been half wheeled, and he's down right now. So.
Ooh, I like that actually.
Yeah. So we're now at a toss up. The leader's down. Who basically makes the call? What I was giving you guys is this pass needs to be abandoned, not you are abandoning the pass.
Question: has Grimmer shown like command of battle situations in the past, or is he just a frontline fighter?
I think there was one time when, like, maybe even at the Battle of Lindsay, where he got kind of separated from his commander and had to take charge, and he was fucking awful at it, and a lot of people died, and he has been ever since trying to stay away from command. So he's not touching that with a 6-foot spear if he can help it.
All right. Begrudgingly seeing the situation, I think Volter will try to go, we need to retreat. You need to fall back. Should I make a battle roll? Not particularly great.
I say go for it, man. Do you want to passion yourself if you got a good passion?
What are my passions? Would that be like loyalty or love of family? Love of family, I guess, would
Yeah,
apply.
love family would work. Yep. You don't want to
Alright,
see
so I
any
just-
more of your family get cut down here.
Yeah, so I just hit that first.
Yep. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
No such
Yeah.
luck there.
You're not gonna be hit. You're gonna be melancholic, but not right away. Like when you leave this, you're gonna be melancholic about losing these lands. Like losing these lands, the situation.
These
with
are
your brother.
family. These are family lands that are being lost, and it makes
To
sense.
angles, no less too. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
All right, I'm gonna
Oh,
roll battle
fucking
now. Let's see what
angles.
happens.
I believe in you. Hey!
Got it!
yeah, you did it. You did it. We'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you the negative on that because the love family is only a 12 too. Like I'm not gonna give you a super negative on that, but you'll be at the melancholic coming out of here.
Yep.
You call the
Makes sense.
orders, and I think you see a lot of the men start to fight defensively, and they begin to back off, almost forming like a shield wall, and backing off using the shield wall. Anything in particular any of you want to do before we change the scene?
I think Grim is going to try to take something, just a trophy or something, from one of the fallen, and then he's going to go with everybody else.
Okay.
It can be anything. It can be a piece, a scrap of leather, or a broken part of a weapon, or an amulet, or anything.
Gotcha.
I think
Was there anything you wanted that for in particular? Like,
Nope. It's just a thing that he does.
okay, got it.
it's just a small little thing with the spotlights on Apoka. He would look at the kind of the carnage in situation before looking up to the sky, and then just saying, "If this is how it will be, this is how things are." And then he leaves the situation there, retreating with the rest.
All right.
I think Volter is just a little upset about having to not only abandon this land, but also like he's not used to being in charge or giving orders, and like he doesn't like the attention that is on him right now, so he's just trying to get out of here with the men.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that this is something that you're gonna have to help me remember his name till it's cemented, because we just came up with it today. Was it Hirlef, right?
Here left.
Hirlef. Hirlef wasn't involved in this, even though he's your Thane. I think it's safe to say maybe he's even a Thane of these lands, but these are like borderlands, and he didn't respond in time. He didn't respond to the call. You were left with less of an army than you'd like to have. So you take that however you want. But some of your kin died today needlessly. But no one we've named so far.
Now, do we check things when we fail or when we succeed at them?
Succeed. Usually I
Depends.
tell you, yeah.
Okay, so we don't do it right now.
Yeah,
Got it.
but no, that's a good point. That one roll at the beginning was meant to test an entire battle. So Mark, you get a tick on first aid. Grimmer and Volter, you get a tick on spear.
Hell yeah.
And then
But
I think Volter, the significance
right?
of battle, I'll give you that too. Like, because that would have been much
Yeah.
worse if it didn't succeed. So
Yeah.
your love family, however, with a 20 automatically goes to 11.
Got it. So that goes down one.
Yeah. All right, and we're gonna move to the next scene. This is kind of back in nearby lands. Whose lands do we want to volunteer this to be, guys? Who do we want to be
Ooh.
close to the border?
I think it would make sense if it was ours. Mark's and I's, especially because Gary is established as being kind of close to the sea, right?
Yep.
So I like the idea of Mark and I's. Is that good for you, Mark?
Yeah.
Now, do you guys
Well,
have
the
the
Yule
same? Yeah, is Mark a noble or is he lit? Are you like the
Oh.
equivalent of a landowner? Because I'm assuming
I
Grimmer
imagine, yeah, I imagine Grimmer is. I think Aethelgar is basically like a wandering priest, Gother. He kind of travels from land to land, and it just so happens he was in the area when this happened.
Yeah, we're definitely Thanes, but I don't know what Mark's situation is, if he lives with us or if he's got different arrangements.
Yeah, I think Mark would like kind of like what he was saying there. I don't. Maybe he doesn't really have a home. Like technically, his home's probably with you, on your lands, Liam, because he can't be defending his lands.
I imagine Aethelgar stays with any of his kin that he wanders towards.
Pretty much. Aethelgar is very much a very solemn, quiet-esque figure. Probably creepily regarded.
All right.
He's that weird uncle. Kind of keeps to himself.
All right. Cool. So let's set this in Liam's lands, then. We're gonna set it in Grimmer's lands.
Right.
Basically, the wounded are being tended to. Those who are up and about are doing their best to kind of socialize. You know, it's one of those things where that group isn't looking to press the attack, right? It's very likely they're just looking to take everything worth value from your cousin, right? And wander away with it. So after a matter of time, you'll be able to return and repair those lands. So it's not like the end of the world, but there are those that are dealing with the grief of what just happened. It's kind of a bit. It's like an Irish wake. So it's
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, I get you.
There are those that are crying, but there are also people trying to drink and cheer up.
Drinking and singing.
Yeah. Maybe we'll zoom in on you guys as that's all happening.
Yeah, I think Grimmer is kind of doing his rounds, checking on the wounded, making sure that we have enough space for everybody, that those that are the most critically injured can stay inside a shelter, and that accommodations are set up, and that we've got enough firewood. You know, just he's making sure that everything is acceptable in the area. When he can run into either one of you guys, whenever you're ready.
I think Aethelgar would probably be focused on looking after the injured and giving those that are on death's door rightful passage to wherever it is they would be destined to go. Be it hell or the halls of Woden.
Understood.
And I think Volter is actually like away from most of the people outside, just a big like mug cradled in his hands, staring off into the distance. Maybe he has like, I don't know if you have any dogs or anything, but if you do, he's like probably like petting them.
I probably, right? I think that would track for a property like this. Grimir kind of walks up and goes, "Cousin, it's good to see you. You look unharmed.
We lost this lot. Thank you for helping.
Have you seen my brother? I lost track of him in the fighting."
No, I didn't.
I'll send him your way if I see him. It has been some time since I believe the two of you have gotten a chance to share stories.
I saw him with my brother during the fighting.
Very well. I'll find you again. And he goes off to look for his brother.
Kind of just goes back to like talking to the dog.
Well, why don't Liam, you give me a test for love of family and see how attentive you are to paying attention to. This isn't you impassioning yourself. It's just how attentive are you to your brother? Like how understanding are you of what your brother was likely to do in any given scenario?
Well, probably not super. Oh, I got it. Can I get a tick for that?
Yeah, at that low of a level, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
At a 10, I mean, those are really low passions, so...
I gotta be real mercenary about asking for ticks on those passions.
I think with a 10, it's like your brother and you have a strange relationship. Specifically, he's strange. So you sometimes rule it out as he's a bit of an enigma, but I think in this particular case, he's very likely to be looking after the dead, or the soon-to-be, or those who manage to avoid it.
He's my little big brother. I gotta make sure that he's okay and nobody's being weird to him about his weird thing he's got with corpses. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine we've got probably a cart outside that we're piling up the dead to go and take them to be cremated. I think he'll head there first. And what do you think, Mark? Does he find you with the still living or with the already dead?
I think you'd find him with the still living, but someone that's like heavily injured, like they've lost an arm or something, so they'll probably be dead soon. Evil guys always had a weird thing about the transition between life and death.
He kind of comes up and a little like unaware of how important the stuff that you're doing is. He kind of puts a hand on your shoulder and he goes, "Brother, you seem unharmed."
Rimmer. Yes, I am unharmed. It seems to take a moment as he thinks the words through.
Good to see that T was looking out for us. Not many were so lucky.
Yes, it is the way of things.
It didn't always. There was a time when this place was safe. When our home was safe. Our cousin mentioned that you were with his brother. Does he still breathe?
Yes, he will live. He will have to wait longer should he wishes to visit Woden's halls.
Good. I imagine he'll be pleased to hear that. How much longer do you intend to stay with the dying?
Until they are at peace.
I see. Well, we're short on space, but I'll make sure that you have a room. Yes. Come find me and Lothar when you have a moment.
Brother. I am glad to see you well.
There's just a moment of like, as he kind of looks you up and down, searching you for something, and he seems to shake it off after just a moment. He goes, "Hi. Same to you. Don't spend too long with your corpses, those soon to be. The living still need you as well." And he kind of makes his way back and checks in with a couple more things before eventually returning back to Voltur.
He kind of nods for a moment, but then he'd look down at the man that is slowly dying. He would place a hand upon his forehead and say a prayer to Woden, ushering him to the other side.
All right.
As I imagine, in a brutal-esque way, would kill the man so he doesn't suffer any longer. Actually, no. He'd leave him to die with his weapon in his hand.
Right.
So that's important.
Now I'm curious. Is this Voltur's brother? Is this
Is it?
Hathwheel?
It depends. Is he dying or is he not?
That's what I'm saying. I'm leaving the narrative, workshopping the narrative. Gary, you're welcome to chime in if you have an opinion either. So
I'll leave this to Aethelgar's decision.
If it is, he would have told his brother a different thing. He would have been honest and be like, he will soon be in Woden's Hall.
One way or another.
Yeah. Let's do a roll. Let's roll D10. You know what, Gary? High or low? It's your brother.
High, he survives. Low, it's
right.
time to go.
It's on the low side, so he's dying. Okay.
Cool. Woden's Halls it is.
Yeah. So he would have told his brother that he is destined for Woden's Halls, and then he would give him the position, kind of putting him in a bed with his sword on his chest or his spear on his chest.
Okay.
And would usher him into Odin's Hall.
All right. Maybe we'll zoom in next then on. I think we had Liam going back in. Is this Grimmer? Grimmer would be armed with this knowledge of who this was that was dying. Like, you probably would have seen this as well. Like, this is your cousin.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They talked about it a little bit. We're retconning slightly what was said, but he's aware. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll, as soon as he makes sure that everything's okay, he's going to go back to Voltur and cousin, I have news.
And slow. You could see like the two hounds of yours that were by him are now like sitting obediently, as if like he got them to stay still. But he kind of just slowly turns his like head, his shoulders hunched, and still holding that massive like mug. Turns, looks. What news?
I found my brother. He's with yours. He'll be with Wotan soon.
That. Did I see him?
Of course. I'll take you to him. And I'm sorry. I know both of us have lost too much family.
He has wife, child. What will come of them?
Same thing that becomes of the rest. They'll be fine, or they won't. I'm getting sick of killing each other over here. There's not enough food to go around and not enough space to keep.
You will let them stay with you short while till they find home with Milner, my other brother. Baby.
There's a slight frown on his face. Even though he's got the sympathy, I imagine supplies are not super plentiful in this time and era. So there's a little bit of a, oh shit, I'm already hosting the wounded here, and then I'll have 2 more mouths to feed for an indefinite amount of time. But he nods and he goes, "Of course. Come.
Okay.
If
And-
we're quick, you might be able to catch his last breaths."
And I think Volter is one of the few people who's like taller than Grimmer.
Yeah.
Makes
I
sense.
think. I don't.
What's
size 20.
Yeah, I'm size 16. So
Yeah.
famous for my size, but I'm more known for my strength. I could
Yeah.
probably lift you, you know.
Kind of follows slowly behind you, and I think the dogs like follow behind both of us as well.
Oh yeah, I
Also
think
because I was feeding them, so.
yeah, I think in general they like you a lot, and every time that you are over, they're like always at your heels.
Yeah.
You give them more treats than I do.
Anna walks over toward, following behind you at a slow pace. He's not crying or anything, but his mood is just kind of dour.
Hmm. Before too long, he shows up with your cousin, Mark. Your cousin's here. Your other cousin, the one that's not dying.
Aethelgar would turn as he sees the two arrive. Brief nod for both of them before he would turn to his cousin and would say, "Well met, cousin. Your brother fought honorably and gloriously. I have no doubt he will be honored in Woden's halls."
You will be honored. He just nods his head, trusting to your wisdom.
The ravens will come for him soon. But if you would like, you may see him.
I would like. And he'll kind of follow the directions and go see his brother.
Okay.
Crouch down next to like half-wheeled side.
Yeah.
Is he conscious or is he
He's
out of it?
he's in and out of consciousness. Like he's conscious, I guess would be the better way to put that. But he is really not with it. He doesn't even so much as he's not even aware you're there at the moment when you approach.
Like put his mouth near the man's ear and say, and doesn't really lower his voice either. He says, "Brother, cousin will send you to the halls of Woden, and our other cousin will tend to your wife and child."
I think that wakes him up a little bit, and he's like, Emma? That's the name of his wife. I'm gonna test something here. Okay. It's not the most valorous of warriors, but enough to be not in a panic. I was testing to see if he was gonna start showing a moment of cowardice here as he's dying.
Mhm.
He's definitely, I think you know him well enough to know he's afraid, but he's doing his best to push it down and show strength in this moment.
Is there anything I can do for you, brother?
Ooh, that's a question. Gary, give me 2d100, please.
Oh boy.
100.
$83 and 86 or 86 and 83.
Locate religion. I like it. Okay. I'm thinking he lost some kind of keepsake of the family's when his arm got cut off. It was in it. It was any suggestion for something that would be botanic in importance, something that he might have.
Silver ring.
Maybe like maybe a bird skull.
Ooh.
Sure.
Like a little like bird skull that was like on a leather band or something.
Yeah. So that left with the hand or the arm. I'm thinking it's more of an arm if he's dying from it. Like, not that you couldn't die from a hand, but you know what I mean. It seems to be pretty.
Lost it at the elbow or something.
Yeah. He, and this is something. This is like this has been passed down to him. This is like his equivalent of like the family heraldic item from that great ancestor you guys all share. That's where this comes from. This is what your brother gets out of the family inheritance or had, and he mentions it. He says, "The pendant. Must be ours. We can't let the others have it."
Where is it?
I was wearing it in battle.
So the angles either have it or it's in the mud.
Yes.
I will retrieve it then.
All
If
this-
I can.
He nods to you, and there's a moment of like a brief, like sort of warm smile on his face, and you can tell as his face stiffens and his eyes go straight, and that his life is leaving.
And I make sure his hands. I think I know enough about botanic religion that like I grip his hands around his dagger or sword or whatever, spear, whatever Hrothgar, whatever Aethelgar had given.
So it was a great
him.
spear.
Yeah.
You certainly find enough Saxons as Kimrick with great spears. It only makes sense.
He's one of
Yeah.
those bastards.
And I call back Aethelgar. Aethelgar, he's leaving us.
He will be claimed by the ravens and wolves, by the mighty daughters of Odin. Woden.
Hey, you are special. You know runes and things of that ilk. Yes.
Indeed, cousin. Indeed.
Your cousin, my brother, the departed, lost the relic of our family on the field. I think these spirits would want it returned.
And I nod slowly at that. If that is how the weird would define it, then that is the path that must be taken.
I don't know much about these things, but I trust you do.
There is power in ancient gifts. Things that can be used, things that can be taken. If it is our bloodlines by right, then it must be taken by might.
A lot of good that seems to be doing us. Our people are killing each other for what? Scraps of bread?
They forget the old ways. The days when we were united as a people. Long time since then has it been. But it is fighting that makes us strong. It is what we do that honors Woden and the gods. Yet it must be tempered by wisdom, and sacrifices must be made.
And I'm lost, brother, like you. And yet, I'm having trouble finding the weight of this sacrifice.
Perhaps we are meant to recover it. Perhaps we are not. It only takes one to take up such a journey.
Mark, with that, give me a sight roll, please.
Sure thing. Success.
Okay. You witness something I don't think you've actually kind of seen with your own eyes. You witness the ravens. They circle for a bit around the small house or home that's been transformed into an infirm for your near dead cousin. And then they begin to make their way in through the door.
I think with that, Volgar would be silent as he watches the ravens enter, staring at them with intent. As I imagine he'd see them make their way over to the body of his fallen cousin.
They do.
And as he does, he would simply say, "Mighty Werkriel, daughters of Woden, guide my dear cousin to his horse."
You see them come and you see them leave again.
Mhm.
You know that your cousin has passed and he has been guided. A victim of battle, he will meet a proper end.
I think with that, Volgar would turn to his cousin and his brother and say, "It is time. The funeral, the funeral arrangements must be made. I will handle them myself, as he is king. But you two must discuss and come to a solution as the two branches of our great family, our bloodline. You must figure out whether it is useful for us to retrieve what was lost, or if we must forge on."
Very well, brother. And I think he kind of pulls pulls Voltor aside, and he kind of just to like a corner of the manor, and he goes, "I'll be honest with you. I don't see much benefit in it. I'll accompany you if you feel it needs to be done, but already so much has been lost for trinkets."
If it were coin, if it were mere goods, I might agree, but I am worried going against the spirits, the gods. This is significant of that type. And he just shrugs his big shoulders.
Perhaps. Personally, I'd feel more comfortable if it were coin or goods. But I understand the meaning for you. I'll go with you, should you so desire. We might be able to move quick enough. We should go while there's still daylight, and before the scavengers have a chance.
Plus, there are few as strong as you, Grimmer.
Aye.
It's funny, though. Hithwild asked after it, not his child, not his wife, but it.
I've seen many men die. Their thinking is not clear when they pass. The mind does funny things to you when you think you're about to meet Wotan in his hall.
Well then, let's not either of us go to meet him anytime soon.
Aye. I'll make arrangements. You may look after his family if you'd like.
They don't want to see me.
Then you may look over after the hounds if you like. And he kind of like heads off and starts preparing travel supplies.
We can move forward from here if there's not anything in particular anyone wants to do. Like go to the next day.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I'm only looking for criticals on this. Can all three of you give me a spiritual roll?
Spiritual roll.
So close.
Oh, the reverse.
Reverse critical.
Reverse critical. That counts, right?
Yeah, right.
And it makes sense that Aethelgar would be the one to come down with this. You have a dream, but you can't really remember the details of it when you wake. It's like a little sporadic. It's like you know that sometimes the dreams are something you can follow, but this time you didn't. You weren't able to follow or make sense of it all. It just didn't make sense. But you wake, and it's kind of like a cold and rainy day the next day. What do you want to do from here?
I think with this, trying to make sense of a dream that he can barely remember, I think he would look inwards to his worship of Odin. Focus on that to see if there is anything that is called forth by it. I'd like to attempt divination.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
That's a failure, though.
Good.
And that wasn't actually utilizing the divination magic. That would be a lot more complex of a thing. I gave you a sense if your divination would have helped you piece out the details. I think you're left with the same confusion. And we'll say we kind of cut to the point where you're all awake the next day. It's probably early morning, past breakfast. What are we aiming to do, guys?
I think Voltaire says, if we want to find the pendant,
Best we find it before too long past.
rain's already making it tricky,
But maybe keeping the scavengers at bay.
I'm uncomfortable being so close to the battle. We'll do what we can. Quickly.
Okay.
See the battle of the dead. That is our place to go.
All right. Who are you taking with you? Are you guys going like as a trio? Or are you going with a contingent?
I think Grim is going to argue for traveling light. But
not appear as a band and just try to get in and out.
Exactly. But it's up to you guys. He won't stop you guys if you think it's smarter to go with the group.
Aethelgar is alright with that.
I think they've seen enough fighting. 3 seems better than many in this case.
Okay.
Very well.
All right, we're going to have you guys kind of move forward. It's going to take you the better part of like all of the morning, and then like early into the afternoon is when you'll arrive at the pass, right? I will get all 3 of you to make an awareness roll, please. You're about maybe a mile or so away from the pass at this point.
Nope.
And Liam, you awareness roll as well.
Oh, sorry, I clicked it. but it
You're
didn't go-
famous.
it didn't-
You're famous for
didn't
that,
go
right?
through. Hey!
Damn.
As this will be a very short Pendragon, when we crit those moments, you're gonna just automatically go up 1
Pick up?
and tick
Fuck
it.
yeah. Fuck yeah. Guys, I have 17 eyeballs now.
You notice, for whatever reason, we'll say, for this to make sense, Aethelgar must just be really focused in on something else at the moment. Not really paying attention to the surrounding. You notice, Grimmer, I think for you specifically, you notice a raven kind of flying overhead. It seems to fly like just ahead of you, and it's circling. And you see it land like about 100 yards away. And then when you start to get closer, it sort of hops and flies a little bit more forward. But it seems to be like almost like leading towards the path or towards the pass. And you're the only one that sees that, Liam.
He will relay that, and I think he'll go, be cautious. Something on the wind doesn't feel right.
So you relay the raven part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
He doesn't feel, I think, the same. Like, he's religious, but I don't think he feels the same affinity for that kind of omen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I just want to verify
Well-
you gave that detail to these two. Yeah.
Yes.
Volter just licks a finger and like sticks it in the wind, but doesn't seem to understand what you mean.
It's where we don't have an intelligence score to reflect Volter.
He's not stupid. He just doesn't. He doesn't understand.
Gotcha.
Moving low. I saw roundabouts where he fell, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You were fighting in
I think-
the past. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna move into that area, kinda, and he's staying pretty low, not like full-on stealthed, but like, I think he's just gonna, again, he's gonna try to do this as quickly as possible, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of sentimentality for him here.
What is Mark's reaction to seeing or hearing about this? And then seeing it as a result? What is your character's reaction? Aethelgar?
I think Aethelgar is mostly focused on the sky, as if he's looking for something specific. But he would, kind of following not too far behind his brother in a similar kind of...
I think you might have missed what was being...
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So you can't have looked at the sky because that's where the raven was found. That's where Liam's been noticing a raven. So you must have been distracted by something else. I don't know.
In which case, yeah.
And
I
then,
think he's just looking towards the kind of leftover chaos of the raid. Kind of seeing where things have been destroyed.
You're not that close yet. You're about a mile away.
Right. I can't think to what he would be doing then, I'll be honest.
Maybe
Maybe
it's something where Grim or Volter had asked him a question, and you were explaining something to Volter. Then you hear Grimmer draw attention to the raven. So it's the first time you're seeing the raven now. It seems to be flying. It seemed to be flying overhead. He explained, and then it started to kind of come down, and it seems to be like moving ahead of you, almost in the, as Grimmer sort of pointed out, he sees this as a bit of like an omen or something to be on guard for, right?
Okay. In which case, Edelgar would stop mid-sentence as he's talking to his cousin.
Yeah, I think Volter was like asking you about like one of the stories that you knew about like the gods, you know.
Yeah. He would kind of, in a way, be looking towards the horizon as he hears talk about the raven. And would say, ravens are often a sign of death. But they are also gifts, servants of Woden, who follow carefully is smart. To use the wisdom I think he's just following behind slowly.
Okay. You make your way to the pass, and all the while the raven stays just slightly ahead of you. As you get to the pass proper, it takes back into the air and begins to circle around one particular point in the pass. The pass.
Does it seem like... Oh, go ahead.
The pass is filled with the corpses of those you saw fall.
Volter doesn't know much about ravens particularly, but he knows a lot about birds. Does it seem like strange behavior?
It does, yeah.
Okay, so he definitely thinks it's like spiritual and a sign of some sort.
Yeah, that makes sense. It seems different than how you'd expect. Like you handle birds of prey.
Yeah.
This is not normal behavior, even for a scavenger. Seems strange. Yeah. You notice that the bodies of your enemies are not here. Only the bodies of your dead are here.
Ooh, do we all notice that?
Yeah, as you're walking through, absolutely.
They took their dead.
No. Not so quickly, that's... Why would they? Some of the bodies, but not all of them like this. Something's wrong.
Give them proper burial.
For everyone? Raiders aren't that deeply religious. And not everybody earns a proper burial.
Maybe they didn't want them to be here.
And yet... I don't see a single person removing bodies. They're just gone.
I think Aethelgar take a few moments before he says, "We should continue forward."
This point, as you wander through the pass further, which is really close to your brother's lands, Gary. Like, this is effectively he took the battle to this pass rather than fighting it within his lands.
Like on his farmstead, yeah.
Right. The Raven comes back down and it lands. This time it's only about 10 feet in front of you. And I think for Mark and Liam in particular. No, I think all three of you were aware of roughly where he was when he was cut down. The Raven's like right in that area. And it just seems to be looking at the ground. You see it pull like a maybe like a worm out of the ground. Or you know what? Even better, like picks at a corpse nearby and
Grim elbows his brother and goes, I think this is your area of expertise, huh?
With that, Aethelgar would approach, saying in a low tone, "You've come all this way for a reason. Now to find out why."
Okay.
And I think he just begins talking to the Raven as he approaches it.
Right.
Do you come as a servant of Walden? Or do you come of your own volition?
Test site for me.
Never. All of us?
No, it's just a
We don't have sight.
You guys don't have sight.
You know, I wasn't looking at the bar. Every time you said that, I was like, oh, Mark means awareness.
Yeah.
Or Bob means awareness, and he's just saying sight. Oops.
For all three of you, though, you can test. We'll leave Aethelgar out of this one. For the other two, you can test awareness. Funny enough, that was coming.
Oh wow, I succeeded.
Makes
Hell
sense.
yeah.
1 on 6.
Mark, you can tick sight. You two can tick awareness. Grimmer, you already have it ticked, right?
Yep.
You see the arm. Buried in the mud, just ahead of where the Raven was looking, and you see the pendant.
I don't like this. Grab it quick and let's be gone, huh?
Does it look like Aethelgar is grabbing it, or?
Aethelgar is consulting the Raven directly, not the item. Yep.
The Volta just kind of like slowly, a little warily, like almost like he's afraid to get too close to whatever is going on between, like, the communion between him. He's not afraid of the bird. He just doesn't want to interrupt this, like, spiritual moment. But at the same time, he also agrees with Grimmer. Let's get the thing and get out of here. So he kind of like slowly begins making his way forward and like moving so as not to frighten the animal, like it was as if it was a normal animal, and like scoop up the arm.
The moment you go to bend over and retrieve the item, the raven takes back, looks at Mark directly. It's not going to speak. I'm not going to have it speak unless you have something specific in your nature. I think that's lame. Like, I don't want to turn this into Dumbo or something all of a sudden.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
comedic voice.
Yeah. It's all of a sudden it's Gilbert Godfrey.
Hello, it's me.
It does caw at you though. Do ravens caw? What's the term? I think they use a different term for it.
They squawk.
Squawk. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's called.
Caw.
It caws at you, and then it takes flight again, Mark, heading towards.
They croak as well.
Croak. That's what I was looking. It croaks at you.
Croak.
Yeah.
It croaks at you, and then it takes flight, low flight, and it starts to head towards the other end of the pass, which is where your fallen cousin's homestead is, like where his lands are.
Mm-hmm. And that Aethelgar watches it and flows it as it goes. Retrieve the arm. This path has not yet met its end. The word calls, and we must follow.
Oh boy, how do you two feel about this? Feel free to test spiritual versus worldly if you want.
Can
Yep.
I actually test something different? And I think it'll be funnier if I don't tell you what it is yet.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
How do I test them versus each other?
You roll them both. If they both succeed, it's a higher number. If they both fail, it's
You get to choose, right?
I get to choose.
I also have directed trait of trusting of runes. Would that apply here or no?
No, because this isn't a rune.
Got it.
Runes are at least concrete, maybe for you, right? Where this is just someone like, interpreting, like it's kind of like the wind comment earlier. It's
That
like,
makes sense. Yep. No on spiritual. Yes, yes on worldly.
And I failed both of mine. I tested lazy versus energetic. I have a 16 in lazy. So.
Okay. All right.
I think Volta's just like pulling the relic off the arm and just like kind of tosses the arm aside and like slips the band on his own meaty fist.
Yeah. I think for Grimmer, the failure just indicates that like because it's failed both, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like oh bother, like, it's that kind of thing. Like, here we go. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Here he goes again.
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah. And then for Volter, this doesn't make sense to you. So I think this is a matter of like, you know, you're not going to understand what this is about. It's a matter of whether or not you sort of trust Aethelgar enough to proceed.
Why would we continue? That looks more danger, more chance to run into the angles.
Because it is destiny. Path divine.
I trust you, brother, but I don't like this.
Those who run from the world find themselves in worse off positions.
I don't do much running at all. But I'd rather walk that way than that way.
He gestures the way that you want them to go, and he gestures back home.
Choose the path you desire. I am not thy father's. I am thy cousin and brother. Make your choice.
I'm gonna.
I have made mine. And he would stop walking in the direction where the raven is gone.
I'm gonna roll my love of family and see if
Sure.
I want to follow.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
critical.
Well, your love family goes to 12, and you tick it again.
Yeah, he goes.
I will not abandon my kid.
Follows after, begrudgingly, not really wanting to, but feeling obliged with, his honor, his love of family, his having lost so many people already. He's not going to leave Aethelgar to wander off and get killed.
Okay.
Head in the dirt, feet in the clouds. Right. And he follows ahead as well. I think he actually tries to get a little bit in front of his brother.
I will say, Aethelgar is very much entranced by the raven and the path.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's really, he's got a full Bran Stark, if Bran could still walk vibe going on to it. So
Exactly.
yeah, we're gonna give you all, should you choose, an awareness or a battle test here as you reach the end of the pass.
I'll go with
No idea.
Go
Yeah,
with
You're 100%
bat.
in that trance right now.
Yeah.
And Liam, battle or awareness test, please.
Yeah, not doing battle. Okay. There you go. That's a success.
As you reach the other side of the pass, and there's a bit of the cool weather and the rain has brought about a terrible fog here. You find yourselves kind of coming down the hill. All of a sudden you hear the sound of horses. Not one, but at least a few, maybe a dozen, maybe less. Now, just to clarify, there is no such thing as cavalry in the Saxons.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Right.
The Franks have some horse stuff, right?
They do a little bit, yeah.
But we're not in
They would be.
Frankland.
You're far from
Far away.
As per the map right here, you can
Yeah.
see how far you is from Frank's land.
Okay. Cool. Since I am the only one who succeeded, Grim is going to put a hand on his brother's shoulder and just push him down into the dirt and drop him as well. And he's going to hold out his other hand to Voltur to try to get him to get down as well.
All right.
Now, the Saxons had horses for scouting and stuff, but they
Yeah.
don't actually have cavalry, right?
Correct. That's why I wanted to emphasize cavalry. These, this is, you all spent time over well, not all of you, sorry. 2 of you have spent time over in Britain, and they ride more like Romans, more like Britons. Like the way that these riders are riding, there's a contingent of them. They're riding fairly quick.
If it was a scout, it would be 1 or 2. This is a group.
These could still be Celts, but they are just much more capable than what
Yeah, staying down, staying quiet.
Okay, so Liam's moving to stay low or get low.
He's gonna try to push his brother down low too.
Yeah.
As well.
Yep. And then what is
Aethelgar has his face in the dirt.
Grimmer doing? Or not Grimmer? Sorry, what is Voltur doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Volter doesn't think he can hide very well, so he's just kind of like stepping aside from where they're coming and just kind of like looking in that direction because he's kind of curious of what this is as well.
Okay.
And trying to present the non-threatening disposition as best he can, though he's kind of intimidating.
Okay. I think if that's I was gonna do like the roll test, but I think if Volter doesn't go down, I'm gonna say they're gonna see him, and so they start to do the whole Rohirrim circle the wagons thing, where they ride around you in a circle, and then start to close in.
How many are there of them?
About 15.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Do they look like Angles or Saxons or?
That is a really good question, and I'm trying to think the best way to culturally determine this. I had a plan for this too. How was I gonna do it? I'm gonna give you. All of you can make a recognize roll, and you can do plus 5.
5.
Nope.
I made myself good at that. I made myself good at that this time. Holy shit! Look at that! I'm so proud of myself.
Learn from previous mistakes.
I think the key here though is that Volter was kind of the one trying to figure it out, but I think you're all trying to figure out who these folks are. Now you've heard of I guess tales of the Guesi. They're a mixed tribe during the times of your grandfathers. So these are like the only people that are they act like Britons to some degree, but they're like half Saxon, and they can be found in Saxony proper on the mainland. They were returned with Peshent. The last time, I think, for purposes of that successful roll, Grimmer, the last time you've heard of this was when Peshent took them back to work to basically invade Britain.
As these riders start circling Voltaire, I think he kind of just stands a little bit taller and he just calls out, "Oh, you ride well."
Grim just looks over to Aethelgar and like puts a finger to his lips, like, "Shh, let's see where this goes before we do anything."
I think the man who speaks, you're actually kind of surprised because he sounds more Saxon than
I
Kimric.
expected.
He says, "Be you Angle or Ute?"
I am Ute. These are my brother's lands. Pathwield. Or they were.
It was the Angles.
They took his arm. He died last night.
I see. We came upon these lands. They challenged us. We slew every one of them.
I will not weep for them. They killed my brother.
He nods. You
Where
should.
do you,
Sorry, go ahead.
where did you learn to ride so well?
In Saxon.
Kind of turning around is like spinning around him a bit, but like
Yeah.
'cause I unless this rider has like stopped at this point.
I think they like came to a stop right before they started talking to you, so you weren't going like this. Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
I like the idea of Voltaire getting dizzy, actually.
Yeah, that could have happened for sure. Like,
yeah, it was
maybe
for a little
now-
bit. Now he's slowed down.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
he
yeah.
knows that there's a conversation.
I am out here, following the will of the gods. Maybe they will that I find you.
They kind of look at each other. A couple of them exchange glances. Mark, you see the raven again. It's overhead. You see it circling the actual homestead itself, which is covered like in that thick mist, right? So you can't really see in front of you, but you can see.
I think probably in which case Edelgar is like, I'm ignoring the situation and he's gonna make his way
You're gonna
towards
try to
the
walk through them. Okay.
homestead. Yeah, definitely.
I think there's a moment where like Grim like turns to like whisper something to you, and you're just gone. And he's like, "Whoa, wait, hang on."
Yeah. A couple of the men like they don't know what to do because Mark also I think you look like what is the name of the what you are? What's it called?
Godry.
Godry. Yeah.
Like it's
The
God-
religious people, right? Or the religious the
priest, yeah.
Yeah, the priests effectively, right? So they hesitate to like cut you down or do anything. They just kind of like there's a communication breakdown. You end up walking past them and they look confused. They know they shouldn't have let you pass them like that. So after you get like 10, 20 steps, one of them's like, "Hey, Godry, wait," and it's the rider starts to ride your way.
With that. Edelgar would turn to the man who's riding over, looking very annoyed as he goes, "What is it?"
We told you to halt, right?
The ravens call. They must be answered. Only then can the true path be divine.
And we'll kind of cut back to. Is there anything Grimmer wants to say or do in this moment before I cut back to Voltaire?
Yeah, I think at this, he's finally gonna like push himself up off the ground. He's gonna just curse to himself, and he goes, "Wait, it's all right. We're youths as well. We're traveling with our cousin here. I hope you'll understand why we determined discretion to be the better part of valor. A great many died in the fighting."
They don't really. They just kind of like nod in like understanding. They're not gonna call you a coward. They're not gonna like, right, add any opinion to it. I think that the one that Voltaire had called out is the leader of the group of them. So he speaks when Voltaire had said his last little point there, which was what did you say again? You said
That maybe the gods wanted us to meet you. Yeah. Almost a question, but yeah.
They looked at each other, and the leader says, "Perhaps not me. Come then, as guests." And this is kind of like that's happening almost the same time that
Yeah.
that Grimmer and Ethelgar
Grim
are,
and-
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think Volta will say, "Should I walk, or do you have a horse?"
They look at each other and the leader smiles and says, "Your legs will do you fine."
Yeah, I'm not sure they have a horse that could carry you, buddy.
Nice descrier, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now Grim has been listening to the conversation as a whole, and kind of now that they're up, I think he's gonna just go to Ethelgar and he's gonna be like, "Brother, we can follow the Raven later. I'd rather stick close to Voltur for now."
The Raven. It wishes to show us something important.
Well, why don't you tell that to our new friend, huh?
All right.
Ethelgard just seems to be continuing his path.
Yeah.
No, tell it to the guy. All right, hang on. Grim, he like kind of calls out and he goes, "I don't believe we caught your name. You'll have to forgive my brother. He has strangeness about him. He think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'll finish the thought and then he goes. He thinks Wilton wants to show us something." One.
His name is Tatwin.
Tatwin.
I thought that was determining whether or not he kills me on the spot.
No. He's like Tatwin. And yeah, I don't think he's gonna buy this. Like, he's just gonna be like, Godfrey's. He just says like he's had his own run-ins with their beliefs and doesn't necessarily buy it.
They're all weirdo.
Yeah.
They're all just...
So at this point, you all are kind of brought in, and you realize that as you get a little bit closer to the homestead, with the through the barrier of fog, you can see that there's actually like an army here. Not a huge one, but at least maybe 6 or 7 times the size of your the unit you were fighting in to protect these lands.
So these
Ooh.
men have taken up at least temporary residence in my brother's home
Yeah,
instead.
correct. You see as the riders ride in, you see a man kind of step out of the home itself, and he moves forward to you. Something about this man seems just more sort of confident and regal than what you're used to seeing in any of your fellow Saxon groups.
He hasn't got shit all over him.
Right. 100%. So at this point, Tatwin, who is just the one that happens to be at the front, just says, "This is the one we follow. Cerdic, son of Vortigern.
Vortigern.
And we're going to fade to black with that."
Oh, we done it. We
found
done it.
Yeah.
We did
Great,
it. We
I-
achieved the series, right? That's the
it.
last episode.
That's all.
We want-
I throw an axe at his head. What do I?
How
Oh, I
dare
crit.
you.
All right. Well, I guess Bob, you
dead.
got to figure out a different plot line
Yeah,
for this
yeah.
one.
Got him. Yeah.
Tatwin.
I hope you guys had fun. It was neat
Yeah.
doing it that
Yeah.
way
Mhm.
and seeing the characters and doing the whole family thing. It's always a good time. I feel like a lot
It's-
of
it
games
was
just
a-
start with family members. It's just a cool way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a long time coming, and like I said, it always takes me about a session to kind of find my feet as the character, but already I'm in it and I'm loving it. It's really fun to see this side of everything. It's very cool.
100%. Okay, let's do some quick outros. Gary, you got anything you want to shout out?
Nothing I want to shout out, but looking forward to playing again.
Awesome. Liam.
Hi, everybody. I'm Liam. I play Grim and also Sir Dallin of Durnford, Sir Parent of Durnford on adjacent shows to this. You can come and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pyrrhic Victories. We also have several of us are involved in a DC show over there, and the first couple episodes are up for you to take a look at. And some point in the near future, there will be some more episodes coming out weekly. So very exciting. That's all for me, though.
Awesome. And Mark.
Hello, I'm Mark, also known as the Cat's Meow, and I have been playing the Weirdo, Aethel God. I also play a different type of weird in Sir Florence in the Maid Show. So please go watch that. You can find a lot of stuff I do on my YouTube channel, the Cat's Meow, where I have a few RPG shows that I have been running, such as D&D and Masks, A New Generation.
All of us are in that one.
Oh yeah, all of them are in Masks.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching us. As a reminder, we have a Discord. Come check us out. I'm sure the link will be somewhere on the Twitch. And yeah, join us for more Pendragon fun and other RPG goodness.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
I'm Bob, aka Ticking Time Bob. This is my stream, and we have, I think all a shout out is that we have a another mini series running on Tuesdays, which is a Realm of Rivalry. So I'm going to do a little thing real quick for that here, just as a general note. So we were just over in the mainland doing mainland things, and that's what I was showing you guys. Just as a level set for what a Realm of Rivalry is dealing with, we've seen a couple of people before. We had a Duke. He was super old. He was super awesome, and he fought his way out of a major coup with a table leg. He lived till about 100, but he has recently passed. And he has two kin fighting over his lands. So Realm of Rivalry is going to be set in the former Duchy of Glevum as the heirs of the Duke Eldol.
I've been privately calling it the Christmas War because of their heraldry. But
yeah, you're right. Which I didn't make up. To be fair, they had an Eldol shield. Yeah, the War on Christmas. All right, let's go ahead and wrap her up there. Thanks for watching. If you're new, love to see you again. Feel free to pop in, like, subscribe, follow, whatever. And we'll catch you next time. See you next Sunday. Take care.
Huzzah!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.